I'm a retired financial advisor, actually retired back in 2005 when I sold my business. As a financial advisor, you're basically guiding people as to how to avoid the problems of running out of money in retirement, or educating your children, or saving money for some purpose. As I've gotten into this element of working to understand how stocks work and how to predict their prices, for the most part, I was able to use earnings per share multiples. With the advent of AI, though, I think I have found a way to get on the same platform that Wall Street analysts are, and that is to use multiple means by which to evaluate what is the price of the stock today and why, and what will the price of the stock be tomorrow and in the future, and more in the future. For the most part, the easy way is to determine what the earnings of the company is going to be at some future date, and then decide on a multiple, a PE ratio, multiply that PE ratio, whether it's historically supported or currently supported, and come up with a price, let's say on January the 1st of 2028. And that's the tools that we've had up until now. Now, in the advent of AI, I am able to get an AI agent, pay for that agent, pay for the data, and then by me and the agent working together, bring in other elements to analyze stocks and come up with future prices. And that's through discounted cash flow, as well as technical trends. And let me share with you today what I have progressed to and how I'm analyzing stocks, and see if it can help you. Again, the first way was earnings per share multiples. And this is what you may have seen on many websites or YouTube channels, where basically you are finding out a conservative, a moderate, and an aggressive means of taking projected earnings per share in the future and multiplying at times a PE ratio. And as you can see, I'm looking at Micron, and that's what I'm going to work on today, is to find out what do I believe the right price is for Micron, not only today, but the end of 2027, first of 2028. And what I would do, or have done, is gone and found through data what their earnings per share are going to be in 2025, 26, 27, and then used a historic PE ratio. And as you can see, the 5-year average on Micron is 16.33, but currently it's more like 14. Then I say, okay, if this is their earnings per share in 2025 of $6.28, and I use a conservative ratio, the stock price is going to be $75.36 at the end of 2025. If I use a more moderate level of earnings per share at 696, it's and a 14 PE ratio, the price of the stock's 94.66, and at a more aggressive 789 and 16, it's at 126.24. So that's how it's gone. And then I just take that and take it out to December 2027, and on a moderate scale, it tells me that the price of Micron stock is going to be $161.84. And so that's how I operate. Now, with the advent of AI, I am able to upload all kinds of data into a platform which gives their current cash flow, their current balance sheet, and their current income statement, along with their latest earnings call, and then go and find their 10K, which is a 10K will give me information as to what they see in the future and any activities that are taking place most recently. So they have to keep the SEC up to date. And when I do that using the AI agent that I have acquired, I come up with a 10-page document that tells me everything I need to know about Micron Technology. And that changes the picture dramatically, because what it does is it tells me that this industry has, and that Micron has a number of elements. It has DRAM, which is they have done extremely well with. They have increased their income off of DRAM something like 400% in the last year because of AI and data centers. But another element of their offerings is NAND memory chips. Now, NAND memory chips are used in PCs and smartphones, and has given cause for Micron to have a very, very bad 2023. And what happened, there became a glut of the NAND memory chips, basically because of all the activity that was going around the EV market that pulled back dramatically, added with the PC and smartphone pullback, and Micron found itself in a position where it was writing down its inventory. In other words, it had a glut of chips that it had to destroy or sell at a tremendous loss in order to get rid of them. And as a result, they had a negative earnings of $4.45 per share in 2023, and their stock crashed. Okay? Now, with that knowledge and the other knowledge I pull out of this report, my analysis changes dramatically. And let me show you what I've done. Here again, I'm using basically the same numbers. I'm showing you here their growth in revenue. And you can see from 23 to 24, they grew 65%. Their earnings per share went from a negative $4.45 in 23 to a positive $1.30, or an increase of roughly 129%. But then they're projecting this year, again because of the tremendous activity around the hyperscalers and the data centers, they're going to have a 415% increase in earnings, which will then translate into a growth in their stock. Now, they are being pulled down like everybody else right now, but that translates to my estimate now saying that the share price at the end of 2023, all the meaningful stuff that's going on set aside, is going to be about $130 per share. That would be compared to what I was saying in 2025 under my earnings per share multiples from 96. So it's substantially more. But what then happens is really important, because as you can see, their revenues then stop growing so fast. The revenues went from growth of 62 to 41, is now 27. And then in 2027, it's projected the revenues to be 3%. And that's because we're building these data centers out. We're throwing all these chips in there as fast as we can. But once they're in there, the chips have a 6-year life. So what we're seeing here is a projection that this is going to slow down, and thus the momentum that they have will slow down, and the stock price will continue to grow, but it won't grow at the rates that we thought it would, where it would get up to $161 in 2027. Now I'm projecting, because of this saturation of chips into the data centers, the price of stock's probably going to come down closer to $90 per share. This is what, and how is that possible? Meaning, how am I able to do this? Because again, cash flow will change, momentum will change, and the activity towards AI will go in a different direction, because we're going through right now the building of the infrastructure. And I compare this regular when I say that drives my mind back to when Dwight Eisenhower built our highway system. Concrete was an important item until the roads were built. And then concrete use went down substantially. That's exactly what's happening with Micron. This happens in every business. When you build the business, Cisco, we were building the internet, price skyrocketed in the early 2000s. It wasn't until last year that it got back to its high in the early 2000s. So that's what's going to happen to Micron. That's what's going to happen to Nvidia. That's what's going to happen to any number of stocks. Knowing that is one thing, but then being able to put a number to it and say Micron is going to go from $89 and or $90 a share, probably where it's going to end up, or it ended up last year, to $130 by the end of this year, and that's when you get out. That's when you get, or that's when you run another analysis that goes into their latest earnings, their latest income statement, their latest balance sheet, their latest 10K, and you have your AI agent totally analyze it again in December of 2025 and then reevaluate and make a decision. That's the power of AI. It is giving me the ability to do what a Goldman Sachs analyst does and make better investment decisions. Now, the beauty of this is I don't have to pay that AI or that analyst at Goldman Sachs $50,000 a year to communicate with me once a month on a limited number of stocks. I have purchased my access to an AI agent and will continue to upgrade that AI agent so that I can, for my own benefit and for my tribe's benefit, continue to update the stocks that I choose and the tribe chooses to follow so that we can make better investment decisions and we can level the playing field with Wall Street. What has happened in the last year, actually, I guess it was since Sam Altman introduced us to OpenAI, is amazing. And what amazes me is every day it gets better. Every day the agent that I use gives me more information, comes back to me and says, okay, I see what we did last week on it. Would you like to add this benefit? Would you like to add this level of analysis? Would you like to compare Micron with its competitors to get a broader picture? It gets better every day. And I want you to have access to it. So what I'm doing is I'm saying, you come to my website, you get to the link in the description and come and sign up for a free trial where you can download this same report that I've done on Micron. I did one just yesterday on Apple. I've done one on NVIDIA. I've done one on a number of stocks. Eventually, I will do it with every stock. I also then take this and give it to another form of another agent that I have hired or I have bought, and I ask them to analyze this and put it into a podcast. And so you have Bard and Samantha talking back and forth and telling you what's in this 10-page document because it's deep. And it's going to take some time for you to get comfortable with all the words but Bard and Samantha in the deep dive make it easier. And then they produce a briefing which condenses the 10 pages down to 1.5, and you have everything you need to make your good decision on Micron Technology or any of the other stocks that I'm doing this for. I want to share this with you. Right now, the price is $19.95. The deal is it's free for 14 days for you to become familiar with it. And then let's move through this investment opportunity of a lifetime with some intelligence, with some knowledge, so that we just don't get our butts kicked like Wall Street pretty much plans to do every year. Okay, that's my take. That's my gift to you. Whether you receive it or not is up to you.